Not yet. Just hold on. Let me check. Is it now visible, guys? I have reshared it. I have again shared it. So is it visible now? Okay, so perfect. So you can hear me, you can listen me, and the screen is also visible. So we can start for the day. Okay, so I welcome you all to this session. As usual, before we start, do you have any doubt that you want to clarify, or we can proceed? Any doubts that you have? Doubts that you want to ask, or can I start with the class? I guess nobody is asking, so we can start. Yes, who's this?
सर आपने जो क्वेश्चन पूछा था माउंट एवरेस्ट पे
अच्छा ओके अच्छा ठीक है चलो let us discuss that, guys. Thank you, Supriya, for reminding us for that question. Guys, if you remember, there was a question that I have asked that day, that what is the reason that the point which is closer to the sun is not that warm if we compare to a person who is on the surface. Could you share the PPTs? I will share the PDFs here, don't worry. Okay, you will get the combined PDF of today's class and yesterday's class on the portal. I will share with the management and you will get that. Don't worry about it. Okay, so anyone who wants to answer this, what you have researched, what is the reason behind this concept that despite being closer to the sun, the A is much more warmer. A is much more warmer. Even if I compare the foothill of this Mount Everest and the peak, although the foothill will also be, relatively speaking, it will be cold. It will be a very dry and cold area. However, if we compare with the foothill, again, it will be much better off. Terrestrial wave radiation, yes. Supriya, this is the answer that I was looking for that day. It is the effect of the terrestrial radiation, or in layman's language, it is the radiation. Now guys, understand this way, that how Earth's warm up. Earth गर्म कैसे होती है? Earth ऊपर से गर्म नहीं होती. That means सूरज उसकी अपर लेयर्स को गर्म नहीं करता. सबसे पहले लैंड गर्म होता है. तो जो अर्थ पर जब हीट टकराती है तो वो लैंड मास सबसे पहले गर्म होगा और तब एनर्जी ट्रांसफर होगी विद अदर फैक्टर्स, जिसमें रेडिएशन एक फैक्टर होता है. अब आप कहेंगे सर कि माउंट एवरेस्ट पर भी तो सनलाइट गिरती होगी, तो वो भी तो इक्वली गर्म होना चाहिए इफ वी कंपेयर विद द अदर प्लेन सरफेस. अब यहां पर उसके अलावा भी कई फैक्टर्स रोल प्ले करते हैं. ठीक है? Yes, exactly, Sahiti, that there is a concept called as albedo effect. There is a concept called as albedo effect, where what is albedo? Let me explain this first. It is the process by which the sunlight is reflected back. The sunlight is reflected back. The amount of sunlight reflected by the surface is called its albedo effect. And the albedo effect of snow is highest. That means almost 98 to 99% of the sunlight falling on the snow is reflected back. Example, Have you seen the skiers, the people who do the skiing? Have you seen the sun? They has to wear sunglasses, the professional ones. I'm not asking the people who go to Manali and pose with the skis. They can wear aviators or anything, and they act like a professional skiers. However, they are not. I'm asking, I'm quoting an example of professional skiers. Again, it is because of the reflection that you get from the snow. जो बर्फ है वो चमकती है, और बाय एनी चांस अगर मैं ऐसे स्पेक्टिकल्स डाल के स्कीइंग कर रहा हूं, या कोई भी व्यक्ति, कोई भी पर्सन एविएटर्स डाल के स्कीइंग कर रहा हो, तो उसके साइड से कोई स्नो में सन का रिफ्लेक्शन पड़ सकता है, और उसे क्या पता स्कीइंग करते समय दिखाई ना दे, और फिर वो अगली सुबह समाचारों में आए. ठीक है, आर यू अंडरस्टैंडिंग? वो करंट अफेयर में आ सकता है. So these are the reasons. We will discuss these things further in geography. However, I guess your geography is still on. You are doing geography. Am I correct? In your batch, geography is still on? Or you haven't? Achha, world is over. So you left with Indian geography. The physical geography is done? Physical geography is done with your batch? Okay, fine. Okay. So anyways, I hope you got this point. Now you can relate from those classes or from those concepts. Then it is much more clearer here. So this was the reason. So let us start today's class. Today's class is again the development of what we have learned from yesterday. We have talked about, just a quick revision, we have talked about ecosystem, how ecosystem basically develops. Okay, what are successions, ecological successions? Then there are primary succession and secondary succession. We have learned the characteristics. We have learned about pioneer species. We have learned about climax species. Okay, then what is the comparison between the primary and the secondary successions? What are the successions in autotrophic and heterotropic areas, or this type of succession, autotrophs and hydrotrophs. Okay, succession in plants, succession in water. This is what we have learned yesterday. Now further is a development of what we have learned yesterday. Today we're gonna study about the ecological interaction in the environment, how the organisms interact, and there is a proper term which has been given to these organisms. There has been a proper term which we have given to each and every interaction. Okay, so in an ecosystem, each species or population interacts with one another in a complex web of a relationship. It is not like that one organism is dependent on the other, or the other is dependent on just the first one. It is a complex web-like structure where there are many interlinkages, or what you can recall from your small classes, food web as a concept. We have seen such food webs in NCRTs में था. ठीक है? So these relationship can be oppositional, that is, can be negative, can be symbiotic. If you remember, we have talked about this in the earlier class. Symbiotic relationship. It can be positive, where both are benefited. It can be negative, where both are losing from it, losing from that interaction. And then it can be a neutral impact, यानी कुछ फर्क भी नहीं पड़ रहा है. So this is what the ecological interactions are. And in the same way, this is what even humans interact in day-to-day life. Some of your relations are symbiotic, जहाँ पर you can gain from each other. ठीक है? It could be friends, it could be your relations with your partners. You can gain from that. You can gain many things from each other. Then it could be negative. आपका दोनों का नुकसान हो रहा है. There are some friends जो एक दूसरे के साथ घूमते हैं, पर दोनों आपस में एक दूसरे का नुकसान ही करते हैं, and they are so called binded by a relation called as friends. We have seen such life, we all are grown enough to an extent. And then we have some neutral relations in life as well. For example, generally with our neighbors, कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, ठीक है, आज के टाइम में किसी को भी फर्क नहीं पड़ता, we are neutral, ठीक है. However, yes, there are some negative relations in pados as well. That negative relation is called as Sharma ji ka ladka. Sharma ji ka ladka usually have a negative relation or negative impact on our family, ठीक है. So you can understand it this way, ठीक है. I hope, acha, by the way, I hope there is not any Sharma. It is nothing to be targeting, any Sharma here, but you guys can understand what I am talking here, ठीक है. किसी को ऑफेंड होने की जरूरत नहीं है कि सर शर्मा जी मैं भी हूँ, मेरे बारे में क्यों बोल रहे हो, ठीक है. एनीवेज पर मुझे लगता नहीं है हमारे इस रूम में कोई शर्मा है. So let us continue, guys. So let us now study what are the different type of interactions. ये interactions किस तरह के और क्या क्या हैं, ठीक है. The first and foremost is a predator. Now this predator or predation is very much important in the ecology or in the environment, because basically it helps to maintain a balance. ये help करता है एक बैलेंस बनाने में, हमारे एक बैलेंस एक सिस्टम बनाने में हमारी एनवायरनमेंट में, और इसकी वजह से काफी हद तक हम एक ऑप्टिमम लेवल मेंटेन कर पाते हैं एनवायरनमेंट में. प्रेडेटर क्या है? जब एक स्पीशीज दूसरे स्पीशीज पर डिपेंडेंट हो या दूसरे को हंट डाउन करे, ठीक है. अ प्रेडेटर मींस इट ईट्स, इट कैप्चर्स or it kills another organism. For example, a basic example, cat eating a mice, or a deer is being eaten by tiger, lion, or the so-called predatory species, ठीक है. So even tigers are important. Now we have worked upon on this tiger population to a greater extent. Now there was a time when the government was deliberately working and giving so much ads to the people to save tigers, when Project Tiger was launched, ठीक है. प्रोजेक्ट टाइगर में टाइगर बचाने के लिए एक्सटेंसिव एड करनी पड़ती थी, किसको? आपकी सरकारों को. क्यों? क्योंकि सिंपल, अगर आप ये देखो कि टाइगर की हंटिंग ज्यादा होने लगी, एंड सच ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर कॉल्ड एज द टॉप मोस्ट प्रेडेटर. They are the topmost predator of the food chain. यानी टाइगर को जनरली कोई खाता नहीं है, टाइगर का शिकार कोई करता नहीं है, लॉयन का शिकार कोई करता नहीं है, ठीक है. अच्छा, आप कहो सर लॉयन और टाइगर भी तो आपस में प्रिडेशन कर सकते हैं. टेक्निकली प्रिडेशन ये आपस में एक दूसरे के लिए खतरा इसलिए भी नहीं होते क्योंकि ये एक फूड चेन का जनरली पार्ट नहीं है, ठीक है. हाउएवर ये सिमिलर सॉर्ट ऑफ स्पीशीज है, बोथ आर द पार्ट ऑफ द कैट फैमिली, the bigger cat family. However, they are not found at the same place, ठीक है. So but both of them are at the topmost predators in their respective food chain. So deer की population बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ने लग जाती है. जब deer की population बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ने लग जाएगी तो grasses बहुत जल्दी से deplete होने लगेंगी. जब grasses बहुत जल्दी से deplete होंगी तो trees और other natural cycles impact होंगी. जब अदर नेचुरल साइकिल इंपैक्ट होगी तो अल्टीमेटली टाइगर की पॉपुलेशन की कमी होने की वजह से somewhere to an extent it will automatically impact humans as well. The impact will come down to humans as well, ठीक है. पेड़ पौधे कम होंगे, टाइगर को समझ नहीं आएगा कि what is this, what you have made. तो ह्यूमन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट बहुत बढ़ने लगेंगे, ठीक है. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, आपने अक्सर न्यूज में देखा होगा ये मैन ह्यूमन कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होने लग रहे हैं, जिसकी वजह से जो बैलेंस हम मेंटेन नहीं कर पा रहे. जैसे इसके कॉमन एग्जांपल्स हमें डेली न्यूज में आते हैं. एलिफेंट. नाउ फॉर एग्जांपल गाइस, जस्ट टू कोट एन एग्जांपल, एलिफेंट इज वन ऑफ द बिगेस्ट मैमल प्रेजेंट ऑन अर्थ, करेक्ट. नाउ If we study about the biology of the elephant needs to travel huge distances. ये migrate करता है बहुत बड़े बड़े distances को. ये migrate करता है अपने food के लिए, migrate करता है reproduction के लिए, next progeny के लिए, etc etc. But हमने इनके natural land को disturb कर दिया है. हमने इनके जंगल काट दिए हैं और वहां पर खेती कर रहे हैं. अब जाहिर सी बात है कि इनके रेगुलर कोर्स में आप देखोगे कि गांव वालों ने जंगल काट दिया और वहां पर मक्का उगा दिया. मक्का इज योर कॉर्न. अब हाथी को और कुछ तो कहीं मिला नहीं, बट वो स्ट्रेट अवे एक गाइस जस्ट होल्ड ऑन फॉर अ सेकंड. Okay, guys, am I audible? Am I audible? Okay, okay, perfect. So I was explaining you elephants. अब आपने पेड़ पौधे काट के वहां पर कॉर्न उगा दिए, ठीक है, मक्का उगा दिया. अब जाहिर सी बात है एलिफेंट को एक जगह इतनी सारी क्रॉप देखकर अट्रैक्शन होगा, मक्का होगा, अरे भाई ये तो पार्टी चल रही है यार. एंड और ये कॉर्न की फसल बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है उस विलेजर के लिए भी, उस गांव वाले के लिए भी, क्योंकि उसकी पूरे साल की इनकम इस पर डिपेंडेंट है. तो आप देखोगे यहां पर एलिफेंट और ह्यूमंस में कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होगा. अब जाहिर सी बात है आप एलिफेंट को भगाने की कोशिश करोगे. एलिफेंट इतना हल्का जानवर तो है नहीं, ठीक है. कभी अगर आपने एलिफेंट को पास से देखा हो तो डर लगा होगा, ठीक है, क्योंकि उस बिगेस्ट मैमल ने हल्का सा आपको प्यार से भी करा तो आप बहुत दूर तक होते हुए जाओगे, ठीक है. एंड दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंस. देन देयर इज कॉन्फ्लिक्ट एंड करंट अफेयर्स. हर साल लोग न्यूज में आते हैं कि हाथी ने इतने लोगों को मारा, इतने घर तबाह कर दिए, इतने गांव तबाह कर दिए. सेम इज द केस विद लेपर्ड्स. लेपर्ड्स ये भी आप देखोगे अर्बन सेंटर्स में बहुत निकल जाते हैं. हरियाणा जैसे स्टेट्स में जहां पर वैसे टेक्निकली जंगल बचे नहीं है, बट छोटे मोटे जो बचे हैं आपके गुड़गांव के आसपास, गुरुग्राम के आसपास, तो आपने देखा होगा कितने सारे ऐसे इंस्टेंसेस होते हैं जहां पर लेपर्ड्स आ जाते हैं. एक मारुति के प्लांट में आ गया था लेपर्ड कुछ साल पहले, 1-2 साल पहले की बात है. मारुति के प्लांट में लेपर्ड घुस गया कि यहाँ जैगवार क्यों नहीं बन रही, यहाँ मारुति क्यों बन रही है. Again, just a joke. Anyways, so I hope you are understanding the game. ठीक है, what is happening here? ठीक है, the conflicts. So it is the game of predation and disturbing the cycle. Next interaction, what we call as is parasitism or parasites. ठीक है, parasites is a very common word. However, it is a scientific interaction, but it is quite common. Now, what is parasitism? It is when one organism, usually a smaller in size, lives on the organism of another species and it called the host. So एक parasite host से अपनी सारी requirements को पूरा करता है. Either it is food, shelter and everything. ठीक है, सारे उसके न्यूट्रिएंट्स को एक्सट्रैक्ट करता है, जिससे पैरासाइट का तो फायदा है, he is gaining from the interaction. However, the host is losing. उसका तो नुकसान है ना. For example, lice, जिसे कहते हैं ना, वो हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं, लाइस को, मेरे को याद नहीं आ रहा, वो कीड़ा जो चिपक जाता है, खून चूसता है, ठीक है. या टेप वॉर्म्स, बच्चों के पेट में कीड़े हो जाते हैं. इफ यू हैव known such terms, tapeworms. So those insects which are already can develop in the intestines of human are one such example is tapeworm. So it extracts every nutrient from the body. वो if you know a little biology, every absorption of the nutrient is taken place in our intestine. So tapeworm doesn't allow that because उसकी पार्टी चल रही है intestine में. So this is your parasitism, ठीक है, parasites. Next is Mensalism. It is a negative association between two species where one species harms the other species without itself getting affected or harmed. Now in this case, one species is getting impacted. However, the other species, there is no any such impact on that species. That means the other species is neutral. ठीक है? अब you can compare it with this as well कि parasitism में भी एक species को harm हो रहा था, but दूसरी species को यहाँ पर फायदा मिल रहा था. ठीक है? Mensalism में दूसरी species को फायदा मिल रहा था. However, यहाँ पर एक का नेगेटिव एक के लिए नेगेटिव होगा, दूसरे के लिए न्यूट्रल होगा. Now to understand this, example could be a large tree in which the shade of the tree, a small tree cannot grow. A small plant cannot grow because उस shade ने इस tree की growth को inhibit कर दिया. So are you getting this? It is quite simple. Mensalism. अच्छा, why these interactions we are studying? ये past में पूछा हुआ है. ठीक है? ये past में इस पर questions आए हुए हैं. So that is why this environment is important. However, from past few years, UPSC has changed the dynamics of environment as a subject. It is more current oriented. ठीक है, ज्यादा environment के question current oriented आ रहे हैं, but उन current oriented question में भी एक ना एक statement static से होती है. तो they don't ignore static portion or what we all are studying completely. So इस चीज का आपको ध्यान देना होगा. आप चाहकर भी इग्नोर नहीं कर सकते. दूसरा, आप ये सोचो कि मैं करंट पढ़ लूंगा, स्टैटिक को छोड़ दूंगा, तो कुड भी यूपीएससी आपके साथ उसी अटेम्प्ट में खेल जाए कि उस टाइम उस पोर्शन में स्टैटिक ज्यादा आ गया और करंट कम आया. Because UPSC is unpredictable, guys. So you have to study both static as well as linking it with current affairs. Moving ahead, let us focus on the next portion, which is commensalism. ठीक है? अच्छा, there's a doubt. How Shubhra. Sir, how small trees harm big tree? It is other way around. Generally, it is other way around because छोटे पेड़ की औकात नहीं है बड़े पेड़ को डैमेज करने की. However, could be an example if you want to fit in. So there are some trees which they have a parasitic nature. वो किसी ट्री की ट्रंक पर ग्रो करने शुरू कर जाते हैं, like epiphytes. We have talked about such things. So there are some epiphytes which hamper the main host tree. So you can classify such trees under parasites rather than in this heading, mensalism. Okay, there is one more doubt. And even big tree is not getting benefit. In which part you are asking, Kanchi? Mensalism? Mensalism, the one species is neutral. See what zero signifies. Zero signifies the neutrality. Either from that small tree, the big tree is not getting affected at all. Neither it is getting benefit out of it. There is neither any nor any negative impact on it. So zero stands for neutral here. Okay. Next is commensalism. Now this type of relation, guys, this type of relation is where one species benefit while the other is neither harmed or nor benefit. So that means one get benefit, the other one is neutral. Okay? For example, cow dung. Now cow dung से क्या होगा? Cow dung provides food and shelter to the dung beetles. Have you seen those dung beetles who collect the dungs and they roll it, they take it, they derive their food from it, and also it provides shelter to them. या किसी भी आप काउ डंग में देख लेना, किसी रूरल एरिया से अगर आप आते हो तो बहुत कॉमन है. वैसे तो हमारे अर्बन सेंटर्स में भी आपको गाय दिख जाएगी, कोई बहुत बड़ी बात नहीं है. काउ डंग को देखना हमारे लिए, it is not a surprise for anyone if you are studying from India. ठीक है, if you are preparing for UPSC from somewhere out, then it could be a difficult task. Then you have to Google how cow dung is used by these dung beetles. But anyways, it is quite common. So cow dung का कोई impact cow पर नहीं होगा. However, beetles are gaining from it. उनको घर मिल रहा है, रहने के लिए प्लॉट 3 BHK फ्लैट मिल गया, खाने के लिए उसी में से मिल गया, and they are dependent on it. ठीक है. Then comes mutualism. Now, what are mutualism? Mutualism is an association with two species where both get benefit from each other. यानी दोनों का फायदा हो जाएगा. ठीक है. Or it is also called as symbiotism. They are completely symbiotic in relation, जहां पर दोनों का फायदा हो रहा है. Now, if I quote this example, termite with their intestinal flagellas, इससे बेटर एक एग्जांपल मैं आपको उस टॉपिक से दूंगा जो कि हमारे लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. इट इज कोरल्स और कोरल रीफ्स. हैव यू हर्ड ऑफ सच थिंग्स? और if I say, have you seen those colorful rocks under the sea? Have you seen it, guys? The corals. Now, have you or do you know how they are formed? How they are formed? So let me just quickly discuss that it is a symbiotic relationship between two organisms here. The one being coral polyps and the other one a microscopic phytoplankton or an algae. Name of that algae is zooxanthellae. Zooxanthellae. Coral polyps and zooxanthellae. It is a microscopic or a phytoplankton. Phytoplankton is much more suffice. Phytoplankton. Coral polyps is just an organism. Now this organism is made up of his body is made up of calcium carbonate. It is the same material. Those who don't understand this, it is the same material from which your those seashells are made up of. शंख वगैरह देखा है आपने? Seashells. Those stuff are calcium carbonate only. In seas, in oceans, usually you find any such hard rock. 80% of such rocks will be made up of calcium. ठीक है, कैल्शियम का डिपॉजिट्स बहुत ज्यादा है. The salts of calcium are in a greater extent. तभी तो समुद्र सॉल्टी भी है और वहां पर NaCl जो हमारा सॉल्ट्स है वो रिएक्ट करता है इन कैल्शियम कार्बोनेट्स के साथ. ठीक है, एंड इट इज क्वाइट हार्ड इनफ. ठीक है, बहुत हार्ड शेल्स होते हैं इनके. अच्छा, मैं और क्या समझा रहा था आपको यहाँ पर? हाँ, कैसे इनका सिम्बायोटिक रिलेशन होता है. तो मैं आपको ये सिखा रहा था कि जैसे ही एक कोरल पॉलिप मरता है ना, व्हेन इट बिकम्स डेड, सो दिस हार्ड स्ट्रक्चर इसके ऊपर एक एल्गी आके बैठ जाएगा. दिस एल्गी ये इस पर आके बैठ जाएगा. ठीक है, अब ये एल्गी क्या करेगा? ये फोटोसिंथेसिस करेगा. उस फोटोसिंथेसिस से इस ये जनरली जिंदा भी होते हैं कोरल पॉलिप्स. ठीक है, वो जो मर जाते हैं, जो डेड हो जाते हैं, उसकी वजह से ये स्ट्रक्चर्स बड़े होते हैं. जैसे कि मान के चलो ये कोरल पॉलिप है जो जिंदा है और इसके ऊपर एक आके एल्गी बैठ गया. लेट मी कलर इट विद डिफरेंट कलर. ये आके एल्गी बैठ गया. अब ये एल्गी क्या करेगा? It will give the nutrients by photosynthesis to this coral polyp, and in return this coral polyp is giving this algae shelter. So both are getting benefit from it. So this is an example of mutualism. Now with time, when this coral polyp dies, another polyp will come and sit over it, and then another algae, and so on. So these structures with time they keeps on growing. However, due to human interference, this cycle has also been disturbed. They are nothing but Tropical, they are called as tropical evergreen forest of the oceans. In layman's language, it is called as evergreen forest of the oceans. Why so? Because these are the regions where you will get maximum biodiversity. यहाँ पर आपको बहुत ज्यादा बायोडाइवर्सिटी मिलेगी. जैसे अगर आपने इन सबको देखा हो, क्या बोलते हैं, डिस्कवरी में भी सो डिस्कवरी में भी आपको यहाँ पर देखेगा बहुत कलरफुल फिशेस, बहुत कलरफुल वैरायटी ऑफ फिशेस आपको यहाँ मिलती है. ठीक है. सो आई होप दिस मच इज क्लियर. एग्जांपल ऑफ म्यूचुअलिज्म. Okay, if I further talk about, next is your competition. Competition, this interaction is between you guys. The 10 of you who are watching me right now, you are interacting with this type of interaction where the two population in which both the species are harmed to an extent. Now, you guys are not harming each other in pure sense, but you can harm each other by working hard and taking the seat of the other. यहाँ पर कोई ऐसा है जो अपनी सीट को सैक्रिफाइस कर सकता है यूपीएससी की दूसरे के लिए? If you are so close with each other, even if you are a couple who watching me together, क्या आप सैक्रिफाइस कर सकते हो यूपीएससी की सीट को कि भाई तू बन जा आईएएस, मैं अगली बार बन जाऊंगा? ठीक है. So there is a competition which is going on everywhere in every species. ठीक है. So both of them compete for the same limited resources. ठीक है. Both of them are competing for the same limited resources. For example, in savannas, Africa, you find two big cats there together, cheetah and lion. Acha, just a question. Do we find cheetah here in India? क्या हमें cheetah इंडिया में मिलता है? In which place, if yes? MP. Answer to this question is, guys, no. In natural habitat, cheetah has been declared extinct from India. In natural habitat, cheetah को हमने extinct declare कर दिया है in India. However, there was a little current affairs somewhere around 6 to 8 months back that we are planning to reintroduce cheetah in India in natural, in the wild. Introduction of cheetah in the wild, and yes, it will be in MP, majorly in MP. Which national park, by the way? It will be in Kuno National Park. Okay? Kuno National Park, that, yes, very good, Janvi. This Kuno National Park extends to the boundaries of Madhya Pradesh, and some part is there in Rajasthan as well. Okay? So this could be the example of competition. Okay? Then neutralism, or where both the species are neutral with each other. So technically speaking, there is no such relation which I can quote you as an example of neutralism, where both are getting no benefit out of each other. So there are hardly any example for this. However, in theoretical sense, we have to consider this as a interaction. Okay. So I hope this ecological interaction is clear to everyone as a topic. Okay, again, it is a very simple one. Just revise it. When you read it 2-3 times, you will remember it. Nothing, very much technical here that you have to, emphasize on. बहुत ज़्यादा technical आपको चीजें नहीं मिलेंगी. Next is the energy. So, if I start explaining this topic right now, let me just give you a little introduction. Okay, let me just give you a little introduction of this topic, and then we will wind it up for the day. So tell me, what energy drives us, humans? With which energy we able to perform? Which is the prime source of energy that drives us? What do you think? हमें ताकत कहाँ से मिलती है? माँ के खाने से या बाबू सोना के थाना खिलाने से? हमें ताकत कहाँ से मिलती है गाइस? ताकत फूड, एयर, सीआर फूड और एयर से भी ताकत लेता है, सॉरी वाटर एयर से भी ताकत ले लेता है. क्या बात है? एटमॉस्फेयर से भी ताकत मिल रही है लोगों को. नाउ गाइस, द प्राइम सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी और एवरीथिंग on the earth is driven by one source of energy, that is the energy coming from sun. If sun shuts down, अगर sun बोले कि मैं आज आराम करूंगा, you won't be able to can do any life process. So everything on earth is driving because of this energy. So if we have studied geography a little, you guys, as you have told, so you must have studied that there are some energy surplus region on earth. हमारी अर्थ पर कुछ एनर्जी सरप्लस रीजन मौजूद है, and those regions are the tropics, and then there are called as some energy deficit region. Deficit, where the energy lacks, or the frigid zones or the polar zones. Okay? Now think it this way, or it is self-explanatory. As we move away from the tropics, we can understand this energy flow quite easily. There is less of interaction, less of everything as we move away from the equator or away from the tropics. आपको पेड़ पौधे कम होते मिलेंगे, आपको ह्यूमंस कम होते मिलेंगे, आपको इंटरेक्शंस कम होते मिलेंगे, आपको जानवर कम होते मिलेंगे, and it reaches to zero on the poles. Okay, not complete zero, but yes, it is very less there. Okay, so we will study a little about all this energy flows on the earth. ठीक है, हम थोड़ा सा इस energy flow के बारे में पढ़ने जा रहे हैं. So this energy flow, it governs the metabolic functions of all living organisms on earth, on this mother earth. ठीक है, I have already explained you this. Okay, yeah, and this flow is unidirectional. That means it flows in one direction. So we cannot say that can we give the sun some energy, or can we transfer some energy back to the sun? Again, answer to this will be no. However, you cannot compare this where our atmosphere reflects some of the sun's energy. It is the part and parcel of the mother nature that it keeps only that amount of energy which is required for us. ठीक है, ये सिर्फ वो अमाउंट ऑफ एनर्जी रखता है जो उसे चाहिए होती है. So the energy flows from the producers to the consumers, and it could be the topmost consumers. And there is a flow of energy which has been explained by Lindsman. This scientist have given us a very famous rule, the 10% rule. Now, what is this 10% rule? If I elaborate a little, that in each level, for example, एक पेड़ को एक ग्रास को एक डियर खाएगा, ठीक है, और फिर एक डियर को एक टाइगर खाएगा. At each level, there will be only 10% of energy which will be transferred to the next level. 10% of the energy which will be transferred to the next level. Now, this is a concept which are at times used by vegans. Do you know who are vegans? Do you know who are vegans, guys? By the way, a little current affair. Ministry of Food and Standard, the Bureau of Food and Standard, and FSI have recently introduced a new logo for a vegan. It's just a V for vegan products. For example, if you have seen any product, when it has a green dot, that means it is a vegetarian. It means if it is a red dot, then it is a non-vegetarian food. Then when there is a triangle, it means something else, and so on. It is a classification. So I guess it is in today's news that FSI, the Food, Agriculture and the Standard Authority of India, has introduced a new logo for vegan. Okay. So yes, tell me, what are vegans? None of you are writing. I cannot see none of you writing the explanation. Yeah. So basically, the vegan is a concept where the people, now for example, those people who say I am a pure vegetarian. Now guys, technically speaking, there is nothing called as pure vegetarian. I have explained you the concept of microbes. Dusra, there is a concept where the people, the classification of milk. Now guys, technically speaking, even the milk is coming out of the body of an organism only. So how you can classify milk to be completely, vegetarian? So vegan is a concept which is completely dependent upon the plant-based food that is directly extracted from the food, the plants only. For example, they don't eat even paneer, they don't eat cheese or any other milk product. They rather eat that shitty food, which is tofu. I don't like it personally. If you guys, you have your taste, tofu. Okay? So they don't even depend on such any sort of milk products. Now the concept behind is just follow the 10% rule. Now when the tree or the grass is eaten by a cow, then cow will process it, and then the milk comes, then milk will be processed, then it will be paneer, then paneer will be processed, and so on. And when human consume it, see the deduction in the energy at each level. So there is a concept, and it is a concept even in the Vedas as well, where you are dependent for your source or sources of nutrients directly from the nature only. Okay, directly from the nature only. Okay, so this is how the concept of vegan has developed. So 10% energy will be transferred from one level to another level to the higher tropic level. So when there will be more amount of levels in a food chain, then the lesser will be the energy transfusion in the next level. Okay, 1/10 of energy will be only transferred in the next level, and then 1/10, or you can say 100 or 10%. Okay, so what is a tropic level? What is a tropic level? For the nutritional needs, the organisms of an ecosystem can be arranged in various hierarchical levels, which are called as tropic level. Now, it doesn't mean that every time the organism has to fall in the same level. It depends upon various interactions. Okay, it depends upon, for example, in many cases, the producers are directly eaten by the plants are directly eaten by humans. ठीक है ना, इस केस में जो ट्रॉपिक लेवल है सिर्फ दो ही है, whereas there are some other type of interactions or other type of food chains where the interaction is quite long, where the interaction is quite long. Okay, so each stage represents nothing but a tropic level. Okay, then further, energy interaction among the tropic level. So what are the different type of energy interaction between the tropic level? So there are three ways energy can be transferred. First is food chain. So let us discuss this food chain only in this class. Food chain is quite simple. It is a linear network or a chain depicting the transfer of matter energy in the form of food from one tropic level to next tropic level. It generally begins at a producer and it ends at a top consumer. So there are different type of food chains which are which can be quoted as an example. Now, for example, you can quote terrestrial ecosystem. Now, terrestrial ecosystem example could be grass. Then grass is eaten by grasshopper. Then grasshopper eaten by frog. Grasshopper, this is grass. Then frog is eaten by lizard. Lizard is eaten by snake. Snake is eaten by eagle. I guess eagle in this case will be the topmost predator. Eagle को मेरे हिसाब से कोई मार के खाता नहीं है. और could be in some special cases humans. कभी देखा किसी ह्यूमन को ईगल खाते हुए? मैंने तो नहीं देखा. जस्ट हाइपोथेटिकल सिचुएशन. किसी का मन करे कि ईगल दो प्याजा खाने का, बटर ईगल खाने का, तंदूरी ईगल खाने का तो अलग बात है. एनीवेज, पॉसिबिलिटी इन चाइना, यस जानवी, कुड बी अ रीजन. वो लोग ऑलरेडी खा रहे होंगे, क्या पता. ठीक है. anyways, so ऐसा तो नहीं है, but so this is your terrestrial ecosystem. Similarly, aquatic ecosystem का example, phytoplanktons. Phytoplanktons are eaten by small fishes. Phytoplanktons are eaten by, then these small fishes are eaten by much bigger fishes. Then this fish is eaten by much bigger fishes, then much bigger, then much bigger, then much bigger, then magarmach could be, or humans. So this is an example of aquatic ecosystem. So I hope this food chain is also clear and quite simple, I guess. Then this is important. Detritus ecosystem, or detritus is nothing but saprophytic ecosystem, or saprophytic food chain. Now, technically speaking, detritus food chain has more energy flow than aquatic ecosystems, because imagine, first of all, 70% of the land is covered with 70% of the earth is covered with land, and there is a huge amount of dead and decaying matter which is lying on the land. So what is this detritus food chain, where microbes or the microscopic organisms like bacteria, fungus, they break down any dead decaying matter. Maybe a tree, maybe an animal like elephant. The bacteria acts on it. The nature starts working on it. So वो सड़ना शुरू हो जाता है. So bacteria and fungus will act on it, and it will break down into organic compound. So this breaking down at first level is called as, it is given a term, catabolism. Okay, this is called as catabolism, where everything is broken down into inorganic compounds like phosphorus, the carbon, or etc. etc. Then further, humification happens. Now, what is humification? Where that leftover dark amorphous substance transformed into humus. Now, this is very enriched material. This material helps us to it is quite fertile because it has all the compounds. For example, you add such humus in your pots, जिसे हम खाद कहते हैं, फर्टिलाइजर कहते हैं. आप ये घर में भी ये प्रोसेस देख सकते हैं. व्हेन यू मेक होममेड मैन्योर, कई लोग करते हैं ये काम, और आज के टाइम में प्रेजेंट डे में नीड भी है, वेयर यू सेग्रीगेट योर वेट वेस्ट एंड ड्राई वेस्ट. अब ये तो आपको भी पता होगा, एटलीस्ट आपके घर में एरिया में जो एमसीडी की गाड़ी आ रही है उसमें भी पार्टीशंस होते हैं, बट नोबडी बॉदर्स. ठीक है, आप ऊपर से जनरली कूड़ा फेंकते हैं बिकॉज अगेन वी आर लिविंग इन अर्बन सेंटर्स. हम बालकनी से अपना कूड़ा फेंकते हैं और वो कहीं पे भी गिरे गाड़ी में गिरना चाहिए, और जनरली कईयों का तो गाड़ी में भी नहीं गिरता. ठीक है, दे आर सच बैड प्लेयर्स कि इधर उधर वो सड़क पे फेंक देंगे और वो सड़क पे ही पड़ा रहेगा. सो this wet waste, when you keep it, it will again, the bacteria in the air and the fungus will keep on working, catabolism, then humification, and then it turn into dark amorphous substance which is called as humus. Then further it get degraded, and the process of this humification to further degradation or turning into humus is called as mineralization. Okay, so this is another food chain, and both are the example of terrestrial ecosystem. You can however, this detritus ecosystem is kept away from terrestrial ecosystem, but yes, it is happening on the land only. For the understanding part, basically, for the understanding part, it is kept separate. Okay, what's humification? Humification is, if I talk in technical term, it is the breaking down of this organic matter with some moisture, with the presence of moisture, and turning it into humus form. It is basically the stages: catabolism, humification / humus, and then mineralization. The compound is broken into the mineral. You have iron separate, calcium separate, and so on. And consolidation of those broken down material is technically termed as mineralization. सारा iron इकट्ठा हो जाएगा और solidify हो जाएगा तो mineralization हो जाएगा. ठीक है? So this is how you classify. So I hope till now the things are clear. We will continue this tomorrow now. This is all for the day. So time now for your daily motivation. I will bring some, I guess, let us discuss some questions tomorrow, but not today. I have to cover the syllabus as well. So I will bring in some questions tomorrow. So today's motivation for you is never stop learning, because life never stop teaching. Okay. So again, if I believe I'm a teacher, that doesn't mean that I know everything, guys. There could be many things that you guys know better than me. Okay. But we all are sailing in the UPSC ocean, and this UPSC ocean will give you learning each day. And nobody can cover this complete ocean, but yes, we can sail each day. So this is your daily motivation for today's class. Any doubt, guys? I hope you enjoyed today's session. So this is all for today. So till then, I'll see you tomorrow. Tab tak ke liye, everyone, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Take care.